somebody's phone too at some point. Or is it an iPhone? Yeah. Okay. At some point. Do some stories. Everybody ready to go? Yeah. Temperatures here is okay. It feels hot for me, so I don't know if you guys are gonna be okay. Yeah. Thank you. So what I mentioned earlier is that this was a course that we ran at the Bayview office for about 9 weeks or so, and there's a lot of content, there's a lot of information. I've condensed it into the 2 hours that it's going to be, and we may go to 3 hours just for those of you if you're really into it and if you want to stay and hang around and learn a bit more, because it's going to be very hands-on, especially towards the latter part of it. So we'll have a break after about maybe 45 minutes or so. How many of you have set up your like a MailChimp account or have a MailChimp account? Okay, so let's do it the other way around. How many of you have not or do not have a MailChimp? Doing it now? Okay, so if you have a laptop, it's good to do it now. If you have only a piece of paper, do it on your phone. If you don't have a phone, too bad. How many of you have a Facebook business page set up? How many of you do not yet have a Facebook business page set up? One? Okay. Okay. So this is a digital real estate marketing bootcamp. It's going to be an intensive 2 to 3 hours, and in it there's going to be a couple of objectives that we're going to be covering. But first, I want to sort of start this out by introducing it maybe as a metaphor or some sort of symbolism here. In our business, we're trying to get attention, right? And right now, as you can agree with me, with a lot of different companies out there, a lot of different entities, a lot of your competitors, it's becoming if it's not already a competitive marketplace, it's becoming even more competitive, right? And you've got companies like this, right? How many of you are familiar with one or two or all of these logos? Just yell them out. You can read some of them. Remax, right? What else? Zillow coming to Canada, right? Purple Bricks. What is Purple Bricks?
It's a British company.
It's a British company
That wants to get into this market.
that wants to. Actually, they bought Comfrey for like a really big price tag, right?
But it was a pittance more than the previous guy paid for it.
True, yeah. And so it's what is Purple Bricks, pretty much. Visible, right? Realtor.ca, of course. Here, what's this logo? You recognize this one?
No.
That's Mongo House. How many of you have recently heard about the lawsuit that they're in? $2 million lawsuit, right? Does anybody know who's behind Mongo House? I had one of their guys call me before the announcement of the lawsuit, but they were trying to sell advertising, right? The answer is basically we don't know. I mean, they did name somebody on the lawsuit who they assumed was one of the programmers for the Mongo House. He works at IBM as well. But aside from that, it's not clear whether it's a brokerage behind it or just a group of anonymous people behind it, just a group of people putting technology together. But what is this logo here? This is House Sigma. How many of you have heard of House Sigma?
Just barely,
Right? House Sigma just recently became a brokerage, and of course we're also in touch with the founders behind that. But their technology, basically, if you download it on the app, does show sold properties and all of that sort of thing. It is compliant with TREP. That's why they didn't get sued. But they've got their algorithms working for them, house valuations, all of that sort of different things. FEDUC. How many of you have heard of FEDUC? FEDUC made it into news, I think, a bit over a year or so ago. And what they facilitate are auctions, right? So if you've ever used FEDUC, it's pretty much a race to the bottom. You're a listing brokerage or you're a listing agent, you sign up for alerts. I had a couple of alerts this morning, but basically, once you bid, it's somebody bidding for, an agent is bidding for the lowest price commission so that the seller will sign them up, right? The seller will choose them because of the lower price commission. Does that make sense? Doesn't make sense, right? I mean, it's a race to the bottom. And of course, Remax, right? Remax doing a lot of innovative things. A lot of different real estate brands and brokerages are doing a lot of different things. But basically, it's a battle of attention, right? Because with all of these companies, and this is just a small fraction of what you're seeing out there in the marketplace, with all of these companies, they're all fighting for the attention of the consumer. In order for you to be able to do business with the consumer, you've got to be somewhere in that channel, right? You've got to be somewhere in that pathway between the consumer discovering your services and the general marketplace, right? So to start today's session, I have 3 questions that you should all answer, right? And if you want to write this down, or if you want to put it on your computer, or if you want to open it up for discussion, let's do it. What is your primary objective? So as a realtor, what is your primary objective? Get money? Who said that?
Get good clients.
Oh, get clients, okay. Get money, I thought you said right? Get clients, why?
For money.
For money,
Yeah.
right? Let's be honest, right? Let's be
Yeah.
honest with ourselves, right? If we're looking at ourselves individually as a business, do you believe that you're a business? You are a business, right? So the objective of a business in a capitalist environment is to generate money, right? To generate a return for its shareholders. In this case, each and every single one of you is the owner of your individual real estate business, real estate sales business, and so your mandate is to make money, right? You're in this business to make money, nothing else. Do you agree or disagree?
I
Agreed.
Disagree? What else are you in this?
Because you're in it to make money, but also to create a reputation, to be
Okay.
good at what you do, so that you can create more business and so on, not just for, just solely the money.
Okay,
Well,
fair
at the
enough.
end, you wanna make money.
Of
right?
course, but it encompasses many things, right? If you're just there for a commission, then you're not gonna last, right?
Mhm.
It's
Absolutely.
about like, it depends on what you do, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you just wanna do it for a few years, then it depends.
Fair enough. Anybody else agree, disagree? How many of you are just in this for the money? No?
I think
Just one?
that's
Okay.
primary.
Primary, right?
Yeah, I think primary.
So I-
Hierarchy.
It's a
It's a hierarchy.
hierarchy. There's a lot of different things that you're in it for: personal fulfillment, self-discovery, feeling good, giving back, all of that sort of thing. As a business, that music was part of that. That was part of it. As a business, it's about generating income. Yes, I'm not going to disagree that. Of course, there are other facets of this, and we understand that. That's what makes this work rewarding, right? Why I want you to be clear about this is when we're building a digital real estate marketing strategy, you've got to know what your objective is. If your objective is, give me a different objective other than making money. Reputation, you said, right?
Yeah, reputation.
So if it's reputation
Establishing yourself.
and establishing yourself, then your entire marketing strategy is going to be based upon something different, right? Than somebody who's solely in it to make money or gain market share or establish your brand or give back to the community or do any of that other stuff, right? So you've got to be clear about your primary objective. So that's one thing that I want you to write down is, what is your primary objective in this business? Number 2, what are you currently doing about it? So when you look at your primary objective and it's about making money, right? What are you doing about making money, right? Are your activities conducive to reaching that primary objective, reaching that goal? So let's say it is about making money. What are the actions that you're going to be currently doing in order for you to be able to achieve that goal?
Lead generation.
Lead generation, right? What else? Prospecting, right? Everybody else who's not answering is either shy or not making money. What else? What else are you guys doing? Follow up,
Door knocking.
door knocking,
Open.
open houses, practicing your scripts, improving yourself, making yourself better, reading motivational books, taking courses, networking, throwing client parties, Thanksgiving client parties, right? Managing your CRM, setting up your website presence, setting up an email list, advertising on Facebook. What else do you do to make money? Asking for referrals. What else? When you're defining your digital real estate marketing strategy, you've got to be clear about what you're doing. This is one of the mistakes that I see a lot. And based on our 9 weeks at Bayview and based on the previous courses that I've taught in digital real estate marketing or anything social media related or lead generation related, a lot of realtors are just doing things because they think that's a thing to do. Does that make sense? Right? So you kind of see somebody create a Facebook page and it's like, oh, I want to create a Facebook page too. Great. What's your reason for doing that? Right? And then so you create a Facebook page. What are you currently doing about it? How many of you have a Facebook page but have like 10 likes or 10 people following? At least you're honest, Robert. How many of you have a Facebook page but don't do anything? You don't post any content on it. Right? So there. What are you currently doing about it? Are you just creating something because that's the thing to do? Are you signing up to the CRM because that's what everybody else does? Right? Are you signing up for these different courses or for coaching because that's what you think a realtor should do? Are you sending out flyers because that's what you think realtors should do? but then you're not doing the second or third or fourth or 12th or 24th or 100th mailing. So you think after one mailing or two mailings you're done, right? This happens a lot in our industry, wouldn't you agree? Right? We see something, somebody's doing something, and we try to replicate it. We have no idea why, we have no idea what our objective is, and now we're not currently doing anything about it because we have no clue. So we've got to create a system that is based on some sort of a concrete and proven framework in order for us to be successful, right? Otherwise, we're just, you know, on a whim. Could you imagine like multi-million or multi-billion-dollar companies just pointing to another company and say, hey, they're doing this, maybe I should do the same thing? Is that how these guys operate at that level? No. Imagine Remax says, hey, Duck, that's a really cool looking logo. Let's put a duck on our logo too. Right? What would that happen? What would happen? Right? Are you an industry leader, or are you just following along because you think that's the right thing to do? Number 3, what challenges are you currently facing? I know these are pretty broad questions, and you're going to see how we tie it into our digital real estate marketing strategies, but what are the challenges you're currently facing in today's market?
What's the right thing for like me to do when it comes to prospecting? Is like you said, everybody has an idea, you know, it's door knocking, events, but what's right for me? That's what I
That's
struggle.
what your challenge is what is right for me.
Yeah.
Which is good. This may not be for everybody, but what I'm going to present to you later is that at least some aspect of your marketing should be digital, right? But that's a good question. Is this the right thing for me? Right? I met with a very successful agent last week at a Starbucks, and he was saying, you know, just for the sake of joining into social media, because hey, that's what everybody else is doing. But then I showed him, look, if what you're going to be doing is a reflection of your brand, and you expect your clients to be, you know, to be able to discover you, or for you to be relevant as a brand, or when somebody is doing research on you, for you to be visible and to be found, you're going to have to tie this into your strategy in some way or another, right? So you've got to be able to know what's right for you, or if it's a sophisticated marketing model, you know, why do it in order for it to work for your existing business, right? What else? What are the challenges you're facing?
So I have a personal Facebook page that was actually really doing well, and I got like quite a few business off of it. And then, I don't know, I somehow created a Facebook page, a business page.
Yes.
And I think after like 7-8 months, I deactivated it because I wasn't really doing much with it, and I was getting more success with just a personal page. So I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be doing one or the other, or just,
Well, what was the reason why you created that Facebook page?
I don't know, to feel like I needed a business page, but really I was kind of hesitant to do it because my personal one was successful with leads.
Right.
And then I created it, and I don't know, not much.
So Marie's answer is she felt like she needed it, right? She felt like she needed it, right? Which is a lot of realtors. Like they again, an example earlier, they see something. We feel like we should be doing the same thing. We feel like we should be sending out flyers. We feel like we should be, you know, putting pets on our business card photos, all that sort of thing. And then, you know, it becomes a thing. And all of a sudden everybody's doing it, and then it's off to the next thing. It's true, right? So the reason why is because we lack that strategy or that objective and that framework in order for you to be able to get there. Thanks for sharing it. Anybody else? What are the challenges you're facing right now? Yes.
I'm getting to the point where I feel like the next step for me is I need to start to. I haven't marketed at all. It's been all referrals. It's been great, like knock on wood. But I feel like I'm getting to a point where I'm going to need to do something to get to the next level.
Yes.
So I believe there's a tipping point of, you know, investing in yourself and what you actually start to see an ROI on that investment. Because I don't think you can do just one thing. Oh, if I get a billboard, I'm going to get 10
Yes.
clients from that. But
Yes.
you might get 5 clients from that if you have that billboard for 2 years or
Yes.
something like that. So I feel like, am I going to spend $10 grand and hope something happens, or am I committing to $60,000 over 2 years and that's a better plan? So I think you need to spend enough to see that. Just don't know where that point is and where it's best invested.
So this is a good point. What was your name?
Tom.
Tom?
Yeah.
And which office are you from?
Beach office.
Okay. So here's a good point, and Tom touched upon a couple of things that I'm also going to cover. For those of you who have invested into your business and paid money for your marketing, what is your cost per lead? How many of you know your cost per lead? Alvin's just looking at me. What's your cost? What does cost per lead mean? Yes.
How much money you're spending to get a new client?
To get a new client?
Well, to get someone
To get somebody to call you. Yeah, to get a, good. So how about a cost per sale? What does cost per sale mean?
100 times the other one.
How many leads do you have to actually get in order for you to get a sale? Right? A firm sale.
4 leads for 1.
4 leads for 1. What else? Who has this number? So think about it this way, okay? And I'm going to give you guys a bit of a hard time today. As you can tell, I'm kind of gearing it up, right? For the moment of truth. But if we don't know how much money we're going to spend in order for us to get a lead, why are we spending money to begin with? Right? What's the objective? Right? The objective is for us to get a lead. So then we just throw money, because all of you are making so much money, right? So you just throw a whole bunch of money at Canada Post mailing, direct mail, right? Or you say, hey, you know what? I have a new listing. Let me boost this on Facebook, and let's just hope and pray we're going to get something out of it. So if you don't know what a cost per lead is, how do we know how much money we're spending? How many of you know how much money you spent in marketing last year, or so far this year? Look around the room. Look around the room, right?
0.
What? 0, okay. I mean, at least somebody knew, right? But the question is why? We're all business owners. Could you imagine a business where they had no idea how much money they were spending in order for them to be able to get customers or clients, right? They had no idea how many how many leads they had to get in order for them to be able to get a customer or a client to be able to purchase something, right? And how many of those clients do you need on an ongoing basis to build a good referral business like Tom has? Right? You may have built it entirely organically, which instead of check equity is sweat equity. You've heard that term, right? What else are you currently facing? What other challenges? Yes?
I'm not an agent,
Mhm.
I'm a marketing assistant, but
Okay.
I came from a fashion marketing background, so I did digital marketing, and
Okay.
it's completely different
Mhm.
to actually getting leads and getting clients.
Yes.
It's not just brand awareness, it's
Mhm.
not just reach, it's actually trying to get people to engage with something.
Exactly.
It's definitely a challenge.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. So in our full-on 9-week digital real estate bootcamp, I covered beyond what we're going to see today. I covered blogging, Facebook, content marketing, all of that sort of thing, right? We're going to touch upon the key stuff today. Be effective? Not really, right? Most of the successful realtors that I know have multiple touch points. So you see that billboard, you get a direct mail from them, they're on Facebook, you see them on YouTube, you see them show up at the door, you see their team members show up at the door, right? There are many big teams, and some of the team members are here today with us. There are many big teams that are able to do this because their brand equity, right, has overcome the challenge of going from being non-recognized to being recognized as being affiliated with a top brand in real estate and being top performers in their field, right? We're going to address some of these challenges as well as we build this system up. So what is digital marketing? Digital marketing, and this is from Wikipedia, so I mean, don't blame me if your definition of digital marketing doesn't align with this, but digital marketing is the marketing of products or services using digital technologies, mainly on the internet, but also including mobile phones, display advertising, and any other digital medium, right? Don't confuse it for just social media. Social media is one aspect of digital marketing. Don't think that it's just Facebook. Facebook is one component of digital marketing. Same with content marketing. Content marketing is part of a digital marketing strategy. And there's a lot of these different terms and a lot of different concepts that you'll be able to learn, right? In fact, next week, there's a great social media class that if you're not familiar with social media such as Facebook and Instagram, all that sort of stuff, you can sign up for that. Now this is a...
Sold out.
Sold out?
Yeah.
Wow. Good. Actually, no, it's not. I checked today. There's 37 spots remaining. When did
The
you
one
check?
on Thursday, you mean,
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sold out.
No,
I
it's on
tried to
Wednesday.
register.
Check again. Check again.
It's on Wednesday.
Check
On
again.
Wednesday, yeah.
We'll check during the break. And for those of you who are here today, I want to see all of you sign up for it. I'm not teaching it. So, for our course today, we're going to be focusing on 3 E's, right? And this is a very easy acronym, just so you can remember it. Number 1 is earn. I'm not talking about money here. I'm talking about earning attention. Second one is engage. After you've earned attention, how do you engage with your prospects? After you engage them, empower. How do you empower them to make a decision for them to do what you need them to do and what's in their best interest as well? Earn, engage, empower. 3 E's. So this is what we're going to build. We're going to build a system where you're going to earn attention, engage them in a conversation, and empower them to make a decision, right? Which is going to meet your primary objective of making sure you stay in this business because you're generating income, you're generating revenue for your business. And everything else is going to be a part of every other concept that you know about real estate and what you do is going to be all a part of this, right? Because yes, earning income is one of the key primary things that you have to do, but if that's all you're focused on and you're not focused on providing the best customer service, then obviously you're not going to be in the business for a long time, right? So all of the stuff that you think about in terms of how you're conducting your business is going to be built into what we do, right? It just goes, I mean, it may be oversimplification that I'm saying that, hey, our ultimate objective here is to find ways to generate revenue, and find ways to generate revenue by identifying opportunities to generate leads and to get known in our areas, right? But everything else that you do as part of your services is a reflection of how successful your business will be anyway. So is it okay if we just oversimplify some of the things so that we can focus on just the essential elements of what we're building today? Yeah? Okay. So we're going to talk about earn, engage, empower. Earn. Now, how do you get attention? Postcards, direct mail, paid social media ads, paid search ads, SEO, neighborhood newsletters, events, right? And there's a lot of other stuff that you're doing right now to be able to capture the attention of your audience. And we're going to define what that audience is in a bit. Engagement. Landing pages. Why I got you to sign up for MailChimp, which is free, is you can actually build landing pages on there, right? So now that you've captured somebody's attention, how do you get them engaged with a conversation with you? So you could build your brand equity, you could build your presence, right? You can build your brand awareness. Email campaigns, content marketing. Now, content marketing is also diverse. This entire course is just on content marketing. So for example, social media content versus blog content versus email newsletter content, right? So a lot of different things you can study just from that. But again, we're going to simplify today, and I'm going to show you. Empower. How do you get them to make a decision? What is a decision you want to make a prospect what do you want a prospect to do once you're engaging them in a conversation? What do you want them to do?
To understand the message.
Understand a message so that they can what? Give you a listing? Appointment? That's on there, yeah. You want to get them into a conversation, right, that will lead to an appointment. Appointment leads into a presentation. Presentation leads into transactions. Transactions get into results, right? And a result is they buy or sell or lease or, do whatever it is for you to be able to generate your income. Does that make sense? So this is what we're going to build today. I want to show you an example. This is something that I've done. Like, as you know, as a manager, I'm not as actively trading as you guys. You're not going to see my face on billboards, right? But this is something that I did a couple of years ago. And it's an example. I'm going to give you an example of an earn, engage, empower type of a system. So I've been licensed for 16 years now. I grew up in Mississauga, and my wife is from Scarborough. So when I married her, I moved out here. Right? All of my business in Mississauga was, advertising and resale homes. Back when resale homes was still a thing. Advertising a little bit on websites, a lot of referrals from family and friends, and that. Moving to Scarborough, I had to start from complete scratch, from zero, right? So I had to build out a system where it wasn't based on my referrals from family and friends or people I knew. I knew nobody in Scarborough, right, except for my wife and her family, and most of the business did not come from them, right? So one of the areas that I focused on was the Scarborough Town Center area. So I created a system like this. Back then I didn't have this acronym for it, but basically the first step that I did was how do I get the attention, how do I earn attention of the people who are living in Scarborough Town Center area? One of the answers was through flyers. Now I also did a lot of websites, SEO, all that sort of stuff. But this is an example of one of my flyers, right? I would lead somebody to a landing page, which I'm going to show you later. And that's how I was able to accumulate a list of potential sellers. And also with that, I was also able to generate buyers, right? Engage. I wrote a book about how to sell your condo. So my marketing was based on engaging in content marketing and the conversation, right? Believe it or not, this is a landing page where they can get the book for free. I also put the book up on Amazon. It's still on there if you want to buy it. Obviously, I don't make a lot of money from the book sales, but anyway, the reason why I did that was to establish credibility, right? So by the time that I got a call for somebody to come in and list their house, because I wrote the entire book on how to do it, you think there were a lot of objections, No, because the book had everything. You can download a copy of this book, condosellersguide.com, if you want to check it out. And in fact, that's similar to a kind of system that you may want to create for yourself, right? And there's a lot of realtors in our company that have either free reports or free books, and a lot of you also do the same thing. So this is not rocket science stuff. It's just a matter of how do you put it together with an objective that you know. My objective was to generate clients from a client base that I had nobody or no contacts that knew me, right? And how did I do it? I did this by creating this system. What is the result? I was able to generate sales from zero, from not knowing anybody in that particular area, and get listings, sales, work with buyers, that sort of thing, right? So I'm gonna let you create something like this today so that you can use this not to replace your active prospecting. Like remember, I'm not a believer in that you set up a Facebook ad or you do a website and then that's it. You just wait for leads to come in, right? Certainly there are some realtors out there who rely on that business model, but in today's challenging business environment, how many of you have heard of realtors that all of a sudden their business model doesn't work anymore? Like online lead generation all of a sudden doesn't work anymore, right? As to the effect that they used to have it before. And if you don't have a transition or a strategy in order for you to be able to keep discovering new ways of generating business, how are you going to be able to sustain your company, right? McDonald's, to this day, how many of you received a McDonald's flyer lately in your mail, right, or seen ads? They're a multi-billion-dollar company. Why'd they still send you flyers so that you can spend $3 or $5? Why, right? So that you don't forget them. So now you look at a realtor who earns $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on a single sale, and you can't do the same thing, right? So what's stopping us? What's preventing us from being able to do that, right? So today what we're going to do is we're going to create a campaign that will help you build and grow a database of potential home sellers in your target neighborhood. How many of you have a farm area?
A lot of flyers and well, I do door knocking as well.
Mm-hmm.
The area because we sold a bunch of houses around Leaside and
Okay.
Cliff, so we're doing it right now and Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
our website and Instagram as well.
Good, good. Anybody else? Everybody else is not farming? You just keeping your fingers crossed. I hope a lead comes in. What's that?
I have an area where I would like to farm, but
Yes.
quite haven't done anything.
Might haven't started anything yet. Okay. Anybody else? You guys are doing well. What's your secret? Same thing. Same thing? So there's no secret. Right? What we're going to do, for those of you who do not have a farm yet, is we're going to establish a farm for you. Right? For those of you who do have a farm, we're going to identify how do you build a database. So the results that you've seen here was because I started to farm these areas. Right? And in fact, one point I was working with Mo, right, in this business, and we were doing more focus on the SEO part of it. So he's been there, he's seen it happen, right? And we started from scratch too when we started working together, right? So yes, it is possible to go from zero, right, establishing yourself and earning the attention of a particular area, particular neighborhood of homeowners, building yourself up so that you become the go-to realtor in that area, a go-to professional, establishing yourself as that, right? And then being able to generate a sustainable business. If you look at some of our very top successful realtors and teams, one thing they have in common too is that they have a fixed farm area in different parts of the city. So for example, Daryl King is up in Richmond Hill area, York. They have a lot of different, they have a big presence up there, and they have a lot of different, you have a big team of people marketing that area. Yes?
Do you think if there's a couple of strong agents that are already owning a particular neighborhood, that you're better to back off from that neighborhood, or does it?
Well, what do you think? What do you guys think? You guys answer that question.
Well, somebody has a big control over the area, it's pointless really. Pick
So
somewhere else, no? If they're too strong, like.
Okay, so pointless.
You have to look at the turnovers. I mean, it doesn't matter if the agents that own that area, as long there's some people that aren't happy with with those agents, right?
So, yeah.
Might as well you introduce yourself to that area, they might go with you, but doesn't matter as long as they have a high turnovers. Doesn't matter.
Yes.
Or maybe they're strong in that area because they were just predominantly the only ones there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of different answers for this, and this is a very good question, right? What I would propose is that, I mean, in the area that we were doing, and when I started farming it, there were a few predominant agents, but over time, some of them will drop off, right? And chances are too, when you're in an area where there's a really big agent, and it's not to pick on the big agent teams in the room, but there are times, and let's face it, when there are agents doing tons of transactions, right? There are times when a client may want to look for somebody who can pay that personal attention, right? They may go with a big marketing vehicle, or they may want to have that hand-holding, one-on-one, right? So the answer is, there's McDonald's, there's Burger King, there's Harvey's, there's Wendy's, there's Jollibee, there's what else, right? A&W. All of these things exist because there's a lot of healthy competition, right? So what I would look at is, number one, turnover. Is there sufficient turnover in a particular area that makes it worthwhile putting a digital marketing strategy in place so that you're able to build up a list of potential sellers in the area, right? And trust me, when there's a big agent somewhere, right, may not necessarily be our agents, but there's a lot of agents out there, there is room for some sort of a competition. And I've seen it happen. There are shifts where that big agent, because of opportunities, have gone to a completely different area, right? Maybe it's a demographical shift, right? Maybe it's just a price shift in terms of the price of homes that they're working with, right? So there's always going to be that constant change, right? So, I mean, I would welcome it, I mean, in terms of competition, but really you have to also do your studies, and you've got to have, either deep pockets in order for you to be able to sustain a campaign until you reach that point, right? And you've got to have the tenacity in order for you to be able to see what it is that you're doing. If you're putting something out there that's worthwhile to somebody, there's going to be room for you in the marketplace. Yeah.
So this campaign you were talking about, what's the budget? Because you have to have a budget to starting campaign.
Okay.
You just can't go okay, I have $0 and just want to start, right?
Okay, good question. We're going to get to that in a minute. So for today, did you do the following? Did you register for a free MailChimp account? How many of you have yet to do so? 2? 3? Everybody else is okay? Yeah. And have an active Facebook business page. Everybody has one? Okay. The reason why is this is what we're going to do together today. We're going to identify your digital marketing campaign objective, right? So what is it that you want to achieve out of this class? And what is it that you want to achieve out of your digital marketing objective in general? We're going to create a landing page using MailChimp. You're actually going to see this done live today, right? We're going to set up a mailing list with automation. How many of you have a mailing list of some sort? You do. How many of you have it automated to a certain degree? You do?
Can you explain a little bit that?
I think she can teach this class. Yes, Ash.
Explain the
Automation? You're going to see what automation is and why we need it. How many of you, okay, so we're going to shoot a video for your landing page. How many of you have shot video before? Right? Okay, good. And we're going to identify strategies that drive traffic to the landing page. So the reason why your lead generation doesn't work, or your Facebook pages, or your landing pages, is because we don't have ways to identify the strategies that we need in order for people to actually show up there, for them to be able to get that information from you. All of these things we are going to do. So we're going to take a short break, right? But what I'm going to do differently from this class and previous classes that I've taught is I'm going to get one of you to actually volunteer. And the reason why is because it may take another 1 hour, it may take 2 hours. And for those of you who are keen enough to stay for the 2 hours, that's great, right? I mean, you don't have to. But I'm going to get one of you to actually do this from scratch today. Meaning, I want you to see the entire process. I'm going to be coaching you. Your peers are going to be pitching in. But one of you will actually have, from start to finish, an actual completed digital marketing campaign done today. Who wants to do it? Don't all raise your hands up. All right, there's a couple of you. Okay.
How much they bid?
That's a good idea. Let's start the bidding now. So if there's a couple of you, then we can do it sort of as a group, and we'll see how we go along with it. It's gonna be hard to pick, actually. You guys put me in a tough situation. Why don't we take a 5 or 10 minute break, right? But before that, you know that I do my Instagram stories, so I'm gonna do an Instagram story right now. For those of you who want to see my Instagram stories, go to Instagram and my username is Johnder Perez. Johnder Perez.
Why'd you pick that?
Why did I pick that? It's just a logical thing to do, I guess. On video?
So are we on break right now, or?
You're gonna be on break once I shoot my story, okay? It's okay, I'll use my phone. I'll record the second half later.